I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you...
Yep, I know. We're talking about ImAllexx, and I understand that I'm extremely late to the subject. I understand that it's been a while. I understand that I haven't gone to this. This came out, like, on the weekend. I know. It's Tuesday. It's late. I get it, alright, guys? I get it. But I wanted to wait and kind of digest some of the stuff that's going on so I could properly give you guys my opinion and just talk about what's going on and what's really happening here. Now, if you don't know about the overall subject, we'll get into it. Before I start, I want to make it very clear that this is going to be split into a two-part series. I want to make it so that this video is going to be talking about Alex's ex-girlfriend. I understand their names are very similar. I apologize for that because she's the one who dropped a just massive document of the entire circumstance and situation. And I also want to go into Alex's past and kind of point out that this has been behavior that has been seen before with Alex. And for the second video, I want to kind of go more into the friends responding, maybe a few extra people making statements about their experience with Alex, and just kind of going over a lot of those extra things because I think it's extremely important. And because I don't want to make this video like extremely long, I want you guys to be able to get the information, hear my opinion, and then, you know, move on with your day instead of watching like an hour-long, 30-minute-long video of someone going over all 82 pages of the document, since a lot of the screenshots and messages shown in here I feel are very pointless given the fact that a lot of them are just them arguing. Don't get me wrong, these messages of them arguing shows, you know, a very toxic relationship, but overall I don't think that equals, you know, abuse or any of that stuff. That's not me putting down Alice or anything for showing these. A lot of the messages that she shows of them just arguing is just a sign of pattern behavior, which I think is extremely important to show. Okay, I'm not putting those down. I'm saying that they're kind of not worth showing here in this video. What I want to show you guys is the messages where he's making vague threats or just all around threats, belittling her and making her feel stupid, just shit like that, so that you guys can kind of get a better understanding of the really horrible, heinous things that the guy was doing. But let's get into the real nitty gritty. So Alex's ex-girlfriend, made a massive statement and a document, 82 pages in all, with other parts to it, especially video evidence, showing that Alex had a consistent behavior of emotional, mental, and possibly even physical abuse towards her, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I want to say this before we even read all of this stuff. This is probably one of the worst cases I have ever seen in terms of abuse. I know that Sky Does Minecraft exists, but let's just say he doesn't, because that's one of the worst cases I think ever. This is terrible, okay? This is some pretty bad allegations. This is some pretty bad stuff, okay? This is terrible. Now, I'll be putting up a lot of the messages up on screen in relation to what I'm talking about, but a lot of these messages would consist of him essentially just putting her down, making her feel very stupid by just calling her like retarded or saying she doesn't know how to type, stuff like that, just kind of making her feel lesser, making her feel dumb. And you also had other occasions and other times where he would simply just sit there and say something like, "I'm going to break your neck." Yeah, he would do shit like that. That's how fucking bad it would get, making just absolute vague threats. He also had a consistent behavior of just simply spamming messages over and over and over again, stuff like fuck you, die, stuff like that, which is unhinged and ridiculous. Something you just don't say to your partner, especially since Alex being 25 years old, you just shouldn't be acting this way as a grown adult. Now, the real stuff that I want to be talking about is more of the video evidence that's shown, because I think the video evidence that's shown gives more validity to the messages that are shown here. But before we get into that, I want to make it very clear that some of the messages in here can be taken with a grain of salt, given the fact that I just don't understand why Alice would blur out the background and just show one message. I don't know why she would do that. What's the purpose of doing that? Why she would choose to do that? It just doesn't really make any sense. And there's also messages where she cropped out the top part, which I'll give you context here. She cropped out the top part simply because she had his name saved as racist N-word. And I don't really see the purpose as to why she's doing that. What makes me believe that she did that is because she probably exerted behaviors of possibly even abuse as well. Now, I say abuse, I mean very little abuse, possibly being a dick to him as well, but she obviously doesn't want to show those messages as well. Either way, I don't think that takes away from the sheer fact that Alex is, you know, making vague threats towards the woman in general. I don't think that changes an ounce of how he acts or anything, but if it is proven that she clearly was doing some of the similar things where she was being an asshole to him, then I guess it changes a little bit of perspective and makes her look like a shitty person. But either way, it doesn't change the fact that Alex is clearly a fucking asshole and a horrible person. And before we get into the actual video evidence and stuff, one more thing, I wanted to point out that the use of the N-word by these two is not a big deal. I don't really care. I've never cared about the use of the N-word unless it's being used to harm somebody in a derogatory way. I don't really care. We're gonna see consistently that Alex does use this word a lot, and she also used it, like I said, where she covered it up. I think it's mostly because she had a pattern of behavior taught from him. He'd probably say it all the time, so she would say it too. I don't have an issue with it. I don't care much for it. I know a lot of people simply thought it was a terrible thing that it was happening, but altogether, I just don't think it really matters. I don't think it's that big a deal. But if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex does have a history of basically pointing out that you shouldn't use these words and these are bad words, but he's using them in the background in his home with his girl. The hypocrisy is just absolutely ridiculous. It's insane to me. But I shouldn't hold you guys back from the actual video evidence. Now, for the video evidence, we've got some pretty interesting things. Stuff like him literally just treating her like an actual animal, saying that she's not being a good dog and she's not listening, like as if she's meant to be on a leash for this guy.
Thing about you, and this is the thing, and this is why I fucking go round and round in circles. I join call, and when I'm getting, you're talking to me, going, this is the thing, even though now, when it's too fucking late, you admit that you did everything fucking wrong, but when it actually matters, when you should lay down like a good fucking dog, you don't fucking do it, you fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing, because you end up admitting that you fucked it all up anyway, so it's just fucking weird, and I know that you're going to end up admitting that you fucked it all up, which is why it's...
And it goes all the way to the point where he had a literal video where he spazzes out and tells her that he's going to beat her with a brick, bash her head in with a brick.
Sorry first.
So I'm a fucking whore mouth bitch retard cunt.
Is it generally because you're just fucking brain dead?
Yeah, I'm very brain dead, yeah.
Is that why you decided to go on the fucking offensive instead of the,
Didn't go on the
maybe...
offensive.
Okay. I don't know what to call what you did. It was weird. It's always weird. You always take the fucking weird route. Just do the normal route, which is... Just do the normal route, but a normal girlfriend
You're
would do.
acting
Go,
like
I
this
didn't
is all
mean
just
it.
me, and that's something you really need to fucking fix.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a brick if you don't shut the fuck up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you fucked this, royally fucked this.
That is one of the most egregious things I've ever heard a man say to their partner, and it's ridiculous. Given the fact that these two lived together, or maybe at the time they weren't living together, it's still scary knowing that your partner is making insane threats towards you, and you don't really know what to do about it. The thing is that you have no clue if he actually is going to enact on the violence on you or whatever. But that leads us to the next piece of evidence that I think is important, which is the fact that there is a 5-minute clip where it's basically just her packing up her things and leaving, and the title of it is basically pointing out that he kicked her in the back, and so she decided to leave the house. She wasn't gonna have it, right? He kicked her in the back, so he's leaving the house. And the video is basically just him following her around as she's packing her things, absolutely rambling, going on a rant and rambling about random things.
Over what? I don't understand. It's not like you've got anything to fucking be stuck up over. But for some reason, something isn't good enough for you. You get to do whatever you fucking want all day. It's like, and then you look like a fucking miserable fucking little cunt all the time. Like, your face is annoying to look at, like when I come downstairs. Like, I'm actually fed up of looking at you. Which is why I sleep downstairs, because I don't want to have to go upstairs and, oh, you're taking all the covers. It's like, fucking woman, just like, fucking ask me to buy another one, or stop fucking complaining. Like, nothing, the thing is, it annoys me, nothing needs to be an argument, because everything is fixable. Buy a new duvet, I sleep downstairs. But no, you've always got to act like none of this stuff, because you don't actually try and fix any of your fucking problems. Like, it's infuriating at this point. Like earlier, you're miserable about something. All you have to do is say what it is and it's fixed. It's fine. You don't have to, like, clean up after yourself. Nigga, neither do you. So, leave it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't go around fucking complaining about everything that you don't clean up after. Why? But you don't talk about it in your fucking little small brain. You're not even honest to pay for any of it. So, who really fucking cares what you have to say? And what does it even fucking matter? If I want a cleaner, I'll fucking hire one. It's my money. But this is the thing, even right now, you just ignore all of that. I'm giving you options for everything, you just ignore everything. You're not actually trying to sort out any of these problems. And if you've got problems with bins, why don't you fucking call them? Why does it have to be me? You can fucking call people, you can get it sorted, you can take them out if you want to. But no, because Alex doesn't actually fucking do anything. I'm trying to fucking right now, I'm spending 3 hours fucking every single day trying to figure out where fucking 75,000 fucking pounds has gone. And whether I'm ever going to get it. And then any of my future YouTube revenue. Because the company's holding my channel fucking hostage. So yeah, sorry I forget about to fucking clean the side sometimes. I got bigger fish to fry.
Now, the only evidence of proof that we have of him actually kicking her is a screenshot picture of them talking about it where he mentions him kicking her. So take that with what you will. The alleged physical abuse, that's the one that's more alleged, is the physical abuse, because there's occasions and pictures of, like, for example, where he's like broken her setup and stuff. That's pretty physical stuff. I wouldn't say physical abuse on her of any sorts, but the kicking one is kind of the only thing we can see. There's also alleged choke holding. He apparently choke holded her, the kicking, just in general, a few extra things where he might have hit her, or she mentioned that she slapped him back. And in all fairness, I feel like that's mostly self-defense. So just again, take it with what you will. With everything that we have, I'll give her that benefit of the doubt and say that he probably did kick her in that moment, and that's why she's leaving. It gave at least a little context. And there's also just other things where he had a 24-minute audio recording of him just crying and ranting to this girl, rambling. I tried listening to it all. It is incomprehensible. I cannot understand what is happening here at all.
Sorry, my phone cut off. It wasn't acceptable behavior, like in any way, shape, or form. It was insane. Like, I guess I've just been stuck in that cycle for so long that I felt like I could do no wrong. I felt like I was the fucking, oh, look at me, I do all this fucking work, and I do everything, and I try and do this, and, just nobody's appreciative, and, I know you appreciated it, and I know that you appreciated the effort that I used to put in, and then I just stopped, because I had you, and you're my girlfriend, and we lived together, and the more further we got through our relationship, the less effort I put in. And if it wasn't for you leaving, I might never, ever have changed my ways. I might have just continued on like that. And instead of apologizing, I've been trying to just be like, oh no, look, I'm good now. Like, I'm perfectly fine now. I'm like a person. Everything's great. And I realize that must come across as so dismissive to you. Or also, why is he doing that stuff now? Why is he being like this now? Why couldn't it have been like this back then? And then you get upset or angry, which is fine and understandable. Or I do something to upset and anger you, like following some fucking idiot on Twitter or Instagram, some woman. I felt like, I even said to you, I'm worried that I haven't got to a place. I was still being vicious and lashing out at you and being angry, but I was using it as an excuse to fucking do it, being like, look, I might do it. It was blackmail. I was being like, you should call me, because if you don't call me, you're gonna lose the apology. I'm gonna be all angry, and it's because I couldn't control my emotions at all. I really held on to the last minute to not do this. I tried my best to avoid this, and I don't know why, because if I'd have done it, if I'd have actually just truly been like, I fucking suck, I just didn't want to admit it, because honestly, I had convinced myself that my ego was the only thing that was keeping me going. I'd convinced myself it was the only reason I was working. I'd convinced myself it was the only reason why I could get anything done. And that if I didn't have my ego, then I wouldn't be able to work, and I'd give up on everything.
I understand that context would matter here, maybe a little bit, but even then, at the end, this is just a guy schizophrenically ranting. I don't think context is going to add anything to what he's asking for here, or what he's doing here. I'm guessing he's just apologizing, and to be fair, I'm not going to show you all 24 minutes of this. I'll probably just show you a few clips of him just absolutely lashing out in tears and rambling and ranting. There's no point to show you all 24 minutes. It's pointless and it's just weird, but it just goes to show how ridiculously insane this guy is and how wild this guy is, the rants that he goes on. But now that we've reached the end of all of this, let's kind of go over this real quick and just kind of break it down into something small here. So basically, ImAllexx mentally and emotionally abused Alice here for a while. He had done this, I believe, for 8 months, where she was living with him, and he would belittle her, make her feel lesser, and just all around just making vague threats towards his own girlfriend, which is god awful and terrible. He also has video recordings of him making these said threats towards this girl and also treating her like she's an animal, which is atrocious. He also clearly has mental issues, and it kind of showing with a lot of these rants and rambles. And before I go into the past that he has and also in general my opinion on the subject, there is a video of her scrolling through one of the said messages where he just double text, triple text, quadruple text all over. He's just constantly trying to get in contact with her, so it at least shows evidence that yes, she's at least scrolling through something to show that this guy is an absolute lunatic. So it gives it a little bit more validity. But let's step into the past of ImAllexx. Now, for a lot of you, I feel like you mostly know what ImAllexx has done, or you know who he is, what he's done. But for the people that don't know, Alex has a history of basically throwing a lot of his friends, quote unquote friends, under the rug for the purpose of fame and money. And the two creators that I want to focus on today is Slazo and Zaptai. Slazo being the main one. Zaptai is a creator who used to be on Hot Wet Soup with, I believe, Alex and another friend. I can't remember the entirety of who was on the show, but if I'm not mistaken, Alex and Zaptai were there, where Zaptai was accused of some pretty egregious things, aka pedophilia. Alex was one of the first people to condemn this man and treat him like a pedo with not enough evidence to suggest that he was, or just didn't take his time with it. This was kind of the start of a pattern of behavior from Alex, where this kind of skyrocketed his career a little bit since he was the main one dogging on Zaptai, and it ultimately led to Zaptai losing his career. And to put into context, Zaptai is not a pedo. The girl lied about her age, and he just simply didn't know that she was underage. Now, is Zaptai a weirdo? Sure. But again, Alex going all the way out of his way to paint Zaptai as an absolute freak, degenerate pedo is insane. But the main one that we should be talking about is the Slazo drama. And if you don't know about Slazo or any of the Slazo drama, Slazo used to be part of a YouTube group a couple years back consisting of people like Quite, Wild Spartans, Blues Dank, Weast, King Ani, and ImAllexx. And the list goes on, by the way. It's more than just these people, but they used to read Reddit posts and just kind of laugh and do somewhat commentary-esque style videos. But one day, a friend of theirs, Shay, came out with information basically painting Slazo as a pedo and a abuser, where she listed off a lot of things that he quote-unquote did that would have been absolutely game-ending, career-ending stuff, accusing him of some of the most heinous things you can think of. Now, I want you guys to guess what the friend group decided to do when these allegations came out. Yep, that's right. They didn't wait for a response, they just simply jumped to Shay's defense. Every single one of them, and the biggest one being ImAllexx, where he would consistently make videos and make posts defending Shay no matter what. And believe it or not, Slazo came out with a video debunking literally everything and basically showing that Shay was the one that was abusing him sexually and in other ways as well. Slazo was clearly innocent, and yet all of his friends jumped his back and just completely put him under the bus. Just no remorse, no nothing. And ImAllexx's response to this was to double down and continue to paint him as a bad guy. Same with a few other friends of his, but this is about ImAllexx, not about those guys. Alex didn't apologize. He didn't go out of his way to try to be like, I can't believe I did this, I'm so sorry. He doubled down and he tried to paint Slazo as still a horrible human being, which is absolutely infuriating to me, given the fact that Slazo literally made a video pointing out that this is the reason why he just doesn't make videos anymore. And it's true. The guy is not here anymore. He's gone. He does not make videos anymore. He left the internet over false allegations, and given the fact the allegations, they weren't just false, he was the one that was the victim. So not only did he lose his career, but he was also the victim of someone else, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. And the sheer fact that Alex decided to jump the train and push him under the bus is insane, which kind of brings me to my opinion about the subject. I seriously don't understand how Alex even grew to such a high point in general anyways. 2 million subs is a lot for a guy that has a reputation of being an absolute asshole to his friends and treating people poorly. And in the second video, we're gonna see a lot of consistencies with with how his friends feel about him, and in general, just how he treats everybody around him. The guy does not have a good, consistent history of being a good person with friends in general, and it's not surprising to me that this guy is a abuser, the thing that he likes to accuse everybody else as. I feel a lot of it is projection, and I think a lot of it is driven by fame.
What judging mental is, I think I may have said like 100 times, to the point where it's actually really hard to follow what I'm saying because it's so flexible. I've gone, you could do this, but you might be able to do that, but you might be able to do that, and you might be able to do this, and this might work, but you might be able to do that. And it sounds fucking mental. I don't even understand how you could possibly actually follow along to it. I know, like, most of my friends struggle to actually understand what I'm saying. But that's why I'm a professional and you're all not. Because, and then when you go, I don't like this, it's not like massive issues there. And you think you can just fucking ignore them because, like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I don't know. Your boyfriend's a fucking famous internet celebrity and doesn't trust these people because he has to keep his circle small. Because you might not have anything to fucking lose because your life might be down the fucking drain, but I still have quite a lot that I would like to fucking give. You're making it incredibly fucking hard for me. Just like Lewis did.
Yeah.
I fucking hate all of you. You guys are fucking like I can't make any videos of Paul Breach.
You have to understand that in a lot of these messages and a lot of these videos, the guy seems extremely egotistical, like he's got it all figured out, like somehow he's the one on top, he's the one making all the money, he's the famous one, he's the internet sensation. The guy is a lunatic, and I think a lot of it is driven by that power and money, and if anything, I think the guy needs serious help. And the best way to do it is by bombarding this guy on the internet. I know a lot of the time people are not a big fan of bombarding people with these things. I mean, we just got done talking about Slazo and Zaptai, and ImAllexx in general just hasn't even made a response. But again, the video messages and the messages in general here, it shows evidence. There's proof. Unless Alex is able to jump out of the gun with proof showing that this is all AI generated or something, I just don't think this can save his career. Let's put it in this perspective. Let's say Alice is an abuser just as much as he is, where she's making terrible threats against him, or she's saying horrible things to him as well. Then sure, this takes a lot of slack off his back, but it still doesn't change the fact that he is admitting this same behavior as well. Again, I can't emphasize enough that I think bombarding him with this and pointing out that karma is a bitch to this guy is important. I want him off the internet, and I think everybody here wants him off the internet. It is literally beneficial for his safety and for his health to get off the internet so he can just get better. A lot of the behavior he's admitting here is something that you can get better from. He can seek a counselor or somebody that can help him with what he's going through, right? This guy is clearly driven by insane amounts of power, and the guy needs to seek some sort of help. I don't want to keep rambling about that same thing over and over again, but that's kind of my opinion on the subject. I think he's a maniac. I think he's ridiculously insane, and I think Alice deserves some sort of support here. She's clearly gone through a lot from this guy. I'm sure she's probably suffered a lot of mental health issues with this guy, and if the physical abuse is still there as well, then sheesh, it's pretty bad. There's also some allegations of him hurting animals. I didn't speak on that in this video at all because I don't want to talk about things that I feel like don't have any validity to them. You know, I feel like it's not really out there, or maybe there's just not enough for me to really condemn him as an animal abuser, but let's just say there is. Sheesh, this guy is pretty fucking bad. But anyways, guys, I don't want to keep on rambling, and I'll see you guys next time. And if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. And if you guys really, really, really love my channel and videos and want to show support to the channel, feel free to become a member. It starts at only $2 a month. I know, lower than most channels, and it comes with perks like special emotes for live streams, members only live streams, and just many more perks. But anyways, guys, I don't want to keep rambling on, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.